So welcome to our back to school online class. And this powerful sale is going to be starting on Monday, so tomorrow, August 17th. And when it comes to school year, a lot of people will have different feelings. Some people are super excited. Some people are going to be thinking, oh my goodness, I will be missing a lot of work. Or, if somebody has younger kids, like my kids are going to be sick all the time. But
Mhm.
as the mommy of four right here, I can tell you that the solutions that we have right now in front of you, they have changed our family's life. So I returned back to work as a teacher 11 and a half years ago, and I had a 4-month-old baby. And my biggest concern was, is he going to be sick all the time? Because it was January. And those of you who know my personal story, I struggled with a lot of respiratory and immune related situations. I was sick quite a bit. And, my parents always were like, I sneezed and they took me to a doctor. So I lived very different lifestyle. And it wasn't until I had my own kids that I was like, I want to have something that is safe, it's natural, and it's going to help us to live a proactive lifestyle instead of always reacting, waiting till we're sick. And right now, our approach to health looks very different. My kiddos are 11, 9, 7, and 5. And I'm happy to report that we've gone over 10 years without antibiotics. And some of my kids have never had over the counter options. So these tiny bottles and the changes that we have made in our home, they have created a powerful change in their health. And right now, they have learned to listen to their body. So this little boy right here, he is 7 right now, but when he was even 6 years old, he could say, I have a sore throat. And I said, Mommy, go take one of these On Guard soft gels. And, and he goes, I already took one. So he knew what to reach for. And we are going to, talk about how you can feel empowered and prepared this coming fall and winter season. And, if this information is helpful, share it with a loved one or a friend, coworker. And we're going to talk about solutions all the way from pregnancy and little ones, our whole entire life journey. So this information is good for everyone, and I hope that you will learn some simple tips. So this message right here, I received just yesterday. I had a friend of mine who traveled to Finland for 6 weeks with her two beautiful daughters. And a lot of times, what I heard from her, before she started using the oils, was like, I cannot take my daughters to church or other places because they tend to get sick immediately. And there she was traveling out of the country for 6 weeks, and she got oils. And I said, I get you prepared. We mixed up immune support roller. She had some simple solutions, and she's actually flying back today to the States. And yesterday she said, we stayed healthy the whole entire 6 weeks. And, if you have been feeling that, I really don't have control over my health, my kids are sick, or you tend to always get at least one or two of those bigger things during the winter season, just know that if you implement some simple daily routines, your body is going to be stronger. Things are going to stay so much short-lived and mild. And if you got a tummy bug, for example, it's not doesn't have to travel through the whole entire household anymore. So let's get started. We have first thing I wanted to highlight is the Pilot Diffuser. So this one is a special. They said basically it would be a awesome gift for a teacher. This diffuser is rechargeable. I actually keep one in my car at all times, so you can plug it in, and I think it runs 4 to 6 hours. So if I'm doing a booth, or I want to even do like a take it outside, in our back patio, like it does not have to be plugged in a car. It perfectly fits in that drink holder thing, and it stays there. And I can create any type of environment in my car. So like I can put peppermint and wild orange to keep me alert, but if I need the car ride to be calmer, I can put balance and wild orange, or put any adaptive or whatever oil you enjoy. If somebody is congested, you could put breathe oil there. So I absolutely love this, and this is a limited time offer. It is not available at all the time. So if you've been looking for a rechargeable car diffuser that you can also put it in the places in your home where there is no plug-ins, it comes with the wild orange, and it's $38.25. Excellent one also for the small workspace or classroom setting. Goes wherever you go. And then here is a couple different diffuser blends that you can try. And then we have On Guard oil blend and On Guard oil touch roller. So here you can see the prices, you can see the savings. On Guard oil can be used in so many different ways. So it is good for diffusing, aromatic use. It's good for applying topically, and it's also excellent to take internally. And this is the oil blend that creates the environment in your home that gets rid of those germs. And I always want to recall the experiment that happened in a school setting. There was a teacher diffusing On Guard oil, and then there was a science teacher trying to grow things. And the On Guard oil, it traveled through the vents and got in that science teacher's classroom, and things couldn't grow. So that just explains how powerful it is. It literally is going to get rid of those airborne germs. It will support your immune system. It will support your respiratory function. You can create an environment in your home that the indoor air is clean, and the germs are not going to just go all over. Topically, how we would use it is you can put a couple drops on the bottoms of the feet. My kiddos, they love having a massage. So I use doTERRA's unscented lotion a lot, or then fractionated coconut oil, and just put a couple drops, give them a massage along their spine, for example. If you've got a sore throat, this On Guard roller is a wonderful option. You can put it right here, on your throat or chest area. And this is pre-diluted. So if you want a simple, ready-to-go option, the roller is good. This one can obviously be used in the diffuser, but then you can also make your own On Guard roller. I put about 15, 20 drops and top it off with a fractionated coconut oil. Taking it internally, my favorite thing is to put a drop in a small amount of water, gargle it, and swallow. That basically clears your throat. Think about your throat is a gateway to the lungs. So if you got a throat stuff going on and you are able to address that, then it's not going to escalate to anything bigger down here. Another way you can use it is to make a cough syrup. So use raw honey and a drop of On Guard and drop of lemon oil in a small amount of raw honey. Take it directly from the spoon. I give it even to my kids. And then you can make a tea out of it, put a drop, in a hot water with a little bit of honey. You can add it in your, food and cooking. So like if I make oatmeal and let's say my kiddos have been under the weather, I may put a drop or two On Guard oil in their oatmeal. They like apple slices. So On Guard apple slices, I slice the apples, put a drop of On Guard, and they're soaking in the water. And cool thing is, it does not turn the apple slices brown either. So it makes an excellent, healthy, immune supporting snack, but then, also keeps the apples the normal color. So, and I will provide some other opportunities, or you can also put in a vegetable capsule if you don't want to taste the oil. So 2 to 4 drops in the capsule and take it for immune support as needed. Or you can do it on a daily basis, like during winter season. So then we have On Guard soft gels. This is a solution that is more than just On Guard oil. So On Guard oil has 5 different immune support, oils, but then the On Guard soft gels, they also have oregano, which is a natural antibiotic. They have melissa, which is antiviral, and they have black pepper, which supports respiratory function on the top of the On Guard oil blend. So that's why it says On Guard Plus. And this is a capsule that I give our kiddos immediately when they've been exposed to sickness, or if we're traveling, it's our proactive approach. If you're under the weather, you can take multiple capsules throughout the day. And I'm happy to help you with that. If you have questions, how many can I take? When can I take it? But my kids are now, even the 5-year-old can swallow a capsule. There's a little trick. She puts it in her mouth, takes a sip of water or something, tilts her head or her chin down and swallows, and it goes directly down. So I know that swallowing capsules is sometimes difficult for little ones, but right away when our kiddos learn to do it, as a mom, I was so excited because I knew that our tools that we had at our fingertips, we were able to elevate our game. And it's a first defense, when it comes to fighting anything that is coming at us. So on-carb soft gels, something that we don't go without at any times. My son came last year home from our homeschool go-up, and I said, "What are you doing?" And he said, "I'm taking on-carb soft gel because everybody in my class was coughing and huffing, and I don't want to get sick." So it's really cool how, 10, 11-year-old at that point was already thinking ahead. I have something powerful that is safe and effective. It's going to keep me, healthy. It's going to provide that additional layer of support and strengthen their immune system. And you can take it even before you actually have symptoms. So then you will, not have them, and it will, or if you are exposed to something, it will keep it super, super mild. Then we have hand sanitizing mist. There is a pack of 5, and then there is you can purchase individually one. During COVID, I mean, there were 80, some days 80 hand sanitizers that got, there was a recall because they had ingredients that were unsafe. Whatever we put in our hands will be absorbed to our bloodstream, and it's really important that it is safe. So this is a really nice option to use, on the go. Then we have hand wash and the hand sanitizer wipes. Hand wash is another layer of protection. Think about how many times you're washing your hands. And if you are purchasing Bath and Body Works soaps and stuff, they have synthetic fragrance in that. That is an endocrine disruptor. So if you want to balance your hormones, you want to support your immune system and your respiratory function, you do not want synthetic fragrance in your products. I used to love Bath and Body Works, but it also made my body very unhealthy. And now that we don't have any of those products in our home anymore, in the last 11 and a half years, we have completely removed synthetic fragrance from the places where we can. This one is so nice. It leaves your hands nice and soft, and you know that your kiddos' hands will not have those germs, but also is not going to strip the beneficial layer of their hands either when it comes to balancing the pH and the delicate moisture barrier there that actually protects your skin. Then hand sanitizing wipes. That's another thing. As a teacher, I've seen classrooms. I remember still when I was teaching in public school, Clorox wipes and stuff. That's another item that does not enter in our home anymore. And if you want a simple thing that you want ready to go, sanitizing wipes, these are wonderful. They have the On-Guard oil blend in it. And then you can also use the On-Guard Clean and Concentrate just to make a simple all-purpose cleaner. And it's so inexpensive to clean the surfaces. But these are simple swaps, so you are not exposed to the toxins throughout the day. And you have to remember, when you're under the weather, what do the world tells us? Reach for synthetic toxic cleaners, to get rid of the germs. Well, when you breathe those in, you're also going to compromise your respiratory and immune system. And the cool thing is, when you clean with On-Guard, it is safe, but it is effective, and it actually supports your immune and respiratory function. So, and let me see. And then there is a hand washing kit that comes with the pump bottle as well. So you can use any type of foaming hand wash bottle. I have even recycled the kiddos body and bath wash bottles. You can take the little label, and it makes a really nice clear hand soap bottle. Then there is a little routine for you. So morning, start your morning starting your diffuser and putting something in it. wild orange and peppermint. I like to put some type of citrus oil and some type of mint oil, basically to uplift my mood, but create also environment that kind of gives me the pick me up, the energy. We call it also our focus blend. So like it creates an environment in our home that the kiddos want to get started with their schoolwork. On-Guard oil blend stays in the diffuser with Breathe throughout the school year, just for the respiratory and immune support. Then we have a school day essentials. So On-Guard hand sanitizers, there's the wipes, On-Guard touch roller. This is a simple thing even to do before you leave your home and you go to work, or your kiddos leave for school or daycare. Put a couple swipes on the bottoms of their feet, put socks on, and send them off. And that will be, doing it morning and night. That's a simple morning and evening routine, but it's proactive. It will give that additional layer of support. And then we have the kids roller collection, which we're going to talk about. And they are not only for kiddos or babies. I have my personal favorites, and I'm going to share lots of stories. After school, washing your hands, using On-Guard oil topically internally, in a diffuser, and then the On-Guard soft gels as needed. Dr. Riggs from the medical clinics, he said that he uses On-Guard beadlets during the summer with his family as a proactive support. But then when winter comes and he's at the clinic and exposed to so many things all the time, he takes one On-Guard soft gel on a daily basis as the ongoing immune support, solution. So safe for that as well. Then we're gonna dive in and look at the kids collection. So this is retail $147, but wholesale right now $110.50, 97.75 BV. And I have such a love for this collection. 8 years ago, when this collection came available, I was pregnant with my third baby. And since that, I have watched my kiddos learn to reach for the oils even before they learn how to read, because they are color coded and they have symbols whether they support their emotions. So it has a heart, it has a body, like if it's for for aching muscles, and then it has a picture of brain here when it's oil that supports the brain. So they learned really quickly which one to reach for. And then I want to play this video. So this is a thinker. We use it for to support focus, rescuers for aching muscles, growing pains. Steady is to calm emotions. My sweet kids, this was a long time ago when they were little. Brave, to have courage and positive thoughts. If you're feeling upset, nervous. And then calmer is a sleep blend. You can put it on the bottoms of your feet. You can put it on the wrist, back of the. And then this is tamer. Our newborn Ilona was that tiny. And then the stronger one on all the kiddos' feet to provide additional layer of immune support. And it's safe for those little tiny toes as well. So very thankful these natural options that we have. And this picture just shows a little bit what they're good for. And then so stronger is for immune support. It has beautiful oils like frankincense and rose, but it's also good for skin. So if you have a area that looks kind of needing support, it is wonderful option to apply for that. And then here's a picture of how we used it even with the little ones. This would be basically replacement or option. Instead of using On-Guard, you can use a stronger with little ones. Oh, no, I went really fast. Tamer, so tummy issues. Instead of digestion, we got Tamer. And the aroma is very much minty. It has spearmint. It is, really good if you got little ones who get sick during car rides. If you got upset tummy, I loved using it with the newborn babies. And it is an oil, kind of like digestin, that our kids know that they can reach for when sometimes it might be just that their tummy is hurting because they're nervous. So then Brave. So this is the oil blend that The picture right here on the bottom right-hand corner, Jasper was 4 years old, and this collection was launched 2 weeks prior. And in 2 weeks, he had learned as a 4-year-old that brave meant that it's oil of courage. And this picture right here was taken after I had my third baby, because for just to have the memory there, because he came up to me and he said, "Mom, you're about to have my." I was already in labor, waiting for my husband to come home and for us to head to the hospital. It was probably 5 hours before I had the baby, and he said, "Let me put this brave oil on you because you need to have courage and you need to be brave because you're about to have my little brother." This was a 4-year-old giving me a oil roller and speaking positive words, you know, affirmations. And those who have given birth, that it can be kind of situation that brings a lot of stress and just a lot of anxious feelings, how it's going to go. And my 4-year-old, after having these oils for 2 weeks, knew exactly which oil, what color to reach for. And you can see that little heart there. So this was when he went to visit a school in Finland. So speaking completely different language. He was in kindergarten there. This is, there's the same picture. This one was, my daughter was really having a hard time. Just every Sunday when we went to church, she wanted to stay with us, and she was crying when we dropped her off. And we used one Sunday Brave and Calmer, and she stayed in her classroom without tears. I took 4 kids to a dental office for their checkups. So we used Adaptive and Brave. Mommy took some Adaptive and Copaiba capsules. This was for body training. We actually combined, we put balance in the bottoms of the feet, cypress over the bladder area, and then Brave, because you want to, during those transitions, you want to create a positive, experience, even when things are difficult and, challenging, and they may take a little while. You don't want to close the door? No, not right now. Mommy's teaching a class. Thank you. So then we have Rescuer. This is basically a replacement for Deep Blue. It is excellent for achiness. This was a picture of our daughter getting teeth, so we used Calmer and the Rescuer, alongside the jawline. If you got but it can be also, if Deep Blue is too much, or you don't like the aroma or something, and you have achiness, you can try the Rescuer for little ones, growing pains, or they get bruises and stuff. I had a picture of my son, and he just said he did, when he was little, he didn't have headaches a lot, but one morning he woke up with a headache, and I said, let's use the Rescuer on the temples and the back of the neck. And maybe 30 minutes later, he came to me and said, "Mommy, that really helped. I don't have a headache anymore." This one is a picture of Oliver. My parents came to visit, and we climbed the pinnacle. I was less than 2 weeks postpartum, but we used Rescuer afterwards for my son Jasper and Elena, because they did a lot of climbing and they were little, so for their tired legs. Then Thinker. Thinker is kind of replacement for InTune. So this is a focus blend. And the funny story is, one time I just couldn't think, and I said those things, aloud. And my son goes, "Mom, if you cannot think, I got a solution." He handed the Thinker roller blend to me, and this will make you think and focus. And I'm like, "Thank you." So think about it. If you have student who struggles staying on task, or school, they get, they're kind of just having a hard time. What typically happens if somebody has ADHD, or, our one side of the brain is asleep and our one side of the brain is too active. So this one has oil blends. It has, for example, Vertiver, that is going to calm the busier side of the brain. And then it has oils like I think clementine and Japanese peppermint, if I remember correctly. And those are to wake that side of brain up, to energize it that is asleep. So, it can be also piano practice, sport practice. Places that you have to focus, it can be for adults when we need to get stuff done, whether it's at work or what, and we just don't feel like it and a hard time focusing, use some thinker there. This one was fun, little information from one of the oil books. It says, did you know peppermint and rosemary enhance memory retention? They make it easier to recall information when they are used first during study time and then, you know, uh, uh, then during test taking. So like if you have a situation that you need to memorize something, put your thinker oil blend on and then do the studying, and then before you go take a test or you have to give a presentation, then put that oil blend in. Hopefully that will help with the recall. Steady. This one is what we call tantrum tamer. So similar to balance, and you see the heart again. So anxious feeling, staying centered, being is comforting, grounding, calming, steadying, and you can roll it on the neck, back, on your wrist, and along the spine. It says here, used before test or performance, you're feeling anxious. But for us, it was a lot of times during the day when those nap times came and it was hard, and when this was in a car ride, it stayed in the car or in my purse, so I could apply before the long car trips, and sometimes that were causing tears. So and then here is just picture of all the products that are going to be additional 15% off. So remember, as a doTERRA customer, you always get 25% discount. So then this is additional 15% off. And if you're a current customer, you can just lock in your account, and if you have already placed your rewards order this month, you can do a instant rewards, and you get all the your product points back and all the perks that way. If you haven't placed your rewards order yet, then you can add these items. Just make sure that they go through during the time that the sale is available. And then if we have any brand new customers who would like to get started, reach out to the person who shared this video with you, and they're going to have a special link for you that is going to save $35 fee, and it will give you access to that 25% off. And then you get to add this promo code. If it's a 100 BB purchase, it's a free shipping, a Breathe, a respiratory roller, and then 150 BB purchase will get you a free diffuser, and then 200 BB purchase will get you also Citrus Bliss, which is a beautiful blend, stress reducing, uplifts mood, and all that good stuff. So, and if you have any questions, we are here to help anytime. You will get all of our support and access to our ongoing continuous education classes. All you have to do is just text me and say, hey, I would like to visit, how to use these oils. I have a question, and I'm here available for you guys. So I'm super excited. I hope that these solutions will change this school year, that you can enter without having all these anxious feelings. We've done so much travel, even overseas, and just watching. I mean, sometimes I'm like, how can I, take all these responsibilities, for example, like tutoring in my kiddos classroom, because, what's going to happen if one of my kiddos is sick? Like, I also have to miss work then. But last year, we didn't miss any school day. We did not. Did not have to cancel one single time. And every time when our kids go, when they go to church, they go to 4 different classes. When they go to their activities, they're all over. So they bring germs from all different places. But these simple changes and these simple, natural, and safe, effective solutions, they have created, a powerful change in our health. And I want to extend that hope and empowerment to you and your friends as well. So if this is a topic that you would like to learn more or have questions, just message me. And then if this was helpful, share it with a friend. And I'm so excited to get to know you guys better. So have a wonderful school year.